is he the greatest African player ever?
I can give you a real short. No.
I agree.
No.
Where does he rank for you though?
I've got Salah in my top 5, but I'm struggling to split between him and Mane, in my opinion.
Seriously?
And I'll be honest with you, for me, that the AFCON does play that part.
Definitely.
In terms of African, he's won the
Definitely.
actual continent's tournament though.
Has Salah not won it, innit?
No,
Salah's not
won the AFCON.
Salah's
You're
not
telling
won
me you're the
it.
greatest
Shout out
player in
Mohamed
Africa.
Zidane.
I'm sorry for every words of disrespect they said.
He's the pride of Egypt, the face of Liverpool, and one of the most lethal left-footed finishers the world has ever seen. But behind Mohamed Salah's glowing smile is a dark, unspoken war. A childhood of crushing poverty, an agonising journey across continents, and betrayal by those who once praised him. This is not a feel-good fairy tale. This is the full truth. In this video, we'll unravel the sacrifices Salah made as a boy in Nagrig, where daily 9-hour bus rides were the norm. We'll reveal the hidden deals and broken promises in Basel, Chelsea and Roma that nearly killed his career before it ever began. You'll see how he fought his way back into football's elite, not through luck, but through a level of obsession that turned pain into performance. This documentary exposes the locker room feuds, the egos behind the scenes, and how one phone call almost made him quit football forever. You'll learn how Salah transformed himself into the pharaoh of Anfield and the untold reasons why he still plays like he's being hunted. This is the complete rise of Mohamed Salah, raw, revealing, and unforgettable. In the tiny village of Nagrig, far from the lights of Cairo or the promises of Europe, Mohamed Salah was born into a family that had nothing to offer but love and struggle. There were no academies, no grass pitches, no scouts lurking, only dirt roads and endless dust. His father worked, but money was never enough. Sometimes the family had to borrow just to buy boots. Salah wasn't the strongest nor the tallest, but every time he touched a ball, it felt like something divine took over. Football wasn't a game. It was survival, an escape from a life with no guarantees. While other kids played for fun, Salah played like he was running from fate itself. Every kick was a promise to himself, I will not die unknown. Nagrig to Cairo, the impossible commute. At just 14, Salah began travelling from Nagrig to Cairo 5 days a week, a brutal 9-hour round trip that drained his body and tested his will. He'd leave home before sunrise, switching from minibus to taxi to bus, arriving to train on an empty stomach, and returning only when the village had gone dark. Sleep became a luxury. Schoolwork suffered, but Salah never stopped. Every ride was a silent war between exhaustion and obsession. Some days he cried on the way home, doubting if it was worth it. But deep down, he believed this pain had a purpose. He wasn't chasing a dream. He was running toward a destiny no one else could see. Arab contractors, the local hope. When Arab contractors finally took him in, Salah wasn't the star. They saw raw speed, not polished talent. He was skinny, awkward, and often doubted by his coaches, but he trained like a man possessed, arriving early, leaving late, refusing to be ordinary. At just 17, he made his senior debut, and everything changed. He started scoring. Fast. Scouts began whispering. Reporters came calling. But Salah stayed silent. He didn't care about headlines. Each goal was a message to his village, to his family, to every doubter. I'm coming. This was the beginning of something no one in Egypt had ever done before. Basel and the language of football. When Basel came knocking, Salah didn't speak German, French, or even English, but he spoke football. It was the only language he needed. The Swiss club had watched him torment their defence in a youth match and moved fast. The move to Europe was cold, lonely, and brutally professional. He missed home, missed food, missed everything, but never missed training. He adapted through obsession, studying every movement, every mistake. Within weeks, he was starting. Within months, he was scoring against Chelsea in the Europa League. Salah wasn't a tourist in Europe. He came to conquer it, and Basel was only the first battlefield. Chelsea. Fame, frustration, and fallout. Chelsea should have been the dream. A Premier League giant, Mourinho at the helm, global spotlight. But for Salah, it became a nightmare. He was benched, ignored, then loaned. Mourinho didn't trust him, and Salah knew it. Confidence shattered, and minutes disappeared. Behind closed doors, he trained harder than ever, but it was like screaming into a void. The media wrote him off. Fans forgot he existed. But Salah didn't break. He built. Every time he sat on that bench, he made a silent vow. You'll regret this. What Chelsea saw as failure, Salah saw as fuel. Loan spells, Florence and the Renaissance. Fiorentina gave Salah what Chelsea never did, freedom. In Florence, the loan was supposed to be a quiet rebuild. Instead, it became a storm. Bigger clubs started circling, and Salah was once again impossible to ignore. Florence wasn't the destination, it was the rebirth. The Roman rebirth. At Roma, Salah found stability, but also a mirror. He had matured. His runs were sharper, his vision clearer, his mindset ruthless. Under Spalletti, he became a machine, doubling digits in goals and assists, breaking defences with speed and precision. But Roma was more than form, it was fire. He started leading, not following. He was no longer trying to fit in. He was forcing football to adapt to him. And when Liverpool came with a record bid, Salah wasn't surprised. He had spent years building a version of himself that was finally too big for Italy. It was time to return to England, but on his terms. The Liverpool gamble. When Liverpool signed Salah for £36.5 million, some called it a risk. Others called it desperate. They were all wrong. From his very first game, Salah tore the league apart. His speed was unplayable, his left foot unstoppable. The Premier League had no answer. 44 goals in his debut season, a golden boot, a Puskas award. Salah didn't just arrive, he took over. Anfield worshipped him. Rivals feared him. But this wasn't a purple patch. It was a warning. Salah hadn't peaked. He had started. And the world was finally forced to pay attention. Anfield. Blood, sweat, and rivalries. Behind the scenes at Liverpool, it wasn't always harmony. Salah was obsessed with winning, and obsession breeds tension. Mane, Klopp. The dressing room, it wasn't perfect. There were stares, arguments, even reported rifts. But on the pitch, Salah delivered. Again and again. Goals against City, clutch moments in Europe. He played like he had something to prove every single match. Not to the fans, not to his coach, but to the ghosts of Chelsea, to the pain of the bus rides, to the kid who once cried on the way home. This was more than football. This was personal. Egypt's chosen son. For Egypt, Salah isn't a player. He's a national symbol. His boots are displayed in museums. His goals shake governments. In 2017, he carried the Pharaohs to their first World Cup in 28 years with a penalty in the 94th minute. The country exploded, but with glory came pressure, political weight, national expectations, sometimes unfair demands, and Salah bore it all. Injured, exhausted, overwhelmed, he kept showing up.
But in Russia, he was a shadow of himself, injured, isolated, and used as a political pawn. Photos with presidents, rumors of betrayal, the media turned cold, the fans were confused, the nation was divided. That summer wasn't a celebration, it was trauma. And Salah came home more wounded, off the pitch than on it. The Ramadan warrior. During Ramadan, while most rest and recover, Salah trains and plays under full fast. No water, no food, no exceptions. Even under blazing lights and against Europe's fiercest defenders, he never breaks it. Scientists called it dangerous, coaches called it insane, but Salah calls it faith. In the 2019 Champions League final, he scored while fasting and lifted the trophy hours after breaking it. His body screams, but his will doesn't bend. For him, this isn't sacrifice, it's power. In a world that compromises everything for success, Salah wins by holding on to what others give up. Record breaker and quiet rebel. Salah breaks records like others take warm-ups. Fastest to 100 Liverpool goals, most goals in a Premier League season, highest scoring African in league history. But he celebrates none of it loudly. No media tours, no ego parades. Yet behind the silence, there's rebellion. He's challenged how Muslim players are viewed in Europe, changed club policies, donated millions to hospitals, schools, and food in Egypt. His influence is quiet, but seismic. Salah doesn't chase legacy. He builds it in silence, brick by brick. And whether you cheer or doubt him, one truth remains: he keeps rewriting history. The Mane rift and Klopp's dilemma. They were supposed to be brothers in arms, Mane and Salah, two African kings leading Liverpool's front line. But something cracked. On the pitch, they stopped passing. Off the pitch, glances turned cold. Fans noticed, cameras caught it, Klopp ignored it, or tried to. But the tension was real. Both men wanted greatness. Both hated second place. At times, it looked like rivalry more than partnership. And in the shadows, Salah's story isn't just told in numbers, it's etched into lives. He built a hospital in Nagrig, paid for weddings, supported education for hundreds.
His philanthropy is quiet, consistent, and often invisible to cameras. On the pitch, he shattered stereotypes. Off it, he redrew the image of the Arab athlete. No scandals, no tantrums, only excellence. To kids in villages, to fans in mosques, to doubters across Europe, he became the symbol of what's possible. When Salah leaves football, his legacy won't fade with the final whistle. It will echo in places far from stadiums. What no one dares to say. There's a side of Salah no one talks about, not because it's hidden, but because it's uncomfortable. The tension with the Egyptian FA, the political misuse of his image, the silence on certain issues that fans wish he'd break, the pressure to be perfect, the burden of being both idol and man. Even in Liverpool, some whisper, does Salah get the respect he truly deserves? Is he valued or tolerated? Behind the smiles and humility is a player who has seen betrayal, injustice, and invisibility. And still, he walks onto the pitch, scores, and walks off. No celebration needed, no validation asked, only truth.